Good evening. In the midst of Nova Scotia's housing crisis, there are questions about whether the Residential Tenancies Act is effective for landlords and tenants who have problems.
There's a summary conviction and fine built into the act, but as the CBC's Nicholas Sagan reports, the issue of how to enforce them is unclear.
We've been hearing stories about disputes between landlords and tenants ending up in a residential tenancies hearing. This is supposed to provide a solution, but that isn't always the case. There is no enforcement to back up these decisions. There is a fine built into Nova Scotia's Residential Tenancies Act, but it's never been used. It's under Section 23, called Offence and Penalty. It includes a summary conviction and a fine of up to $1,000. This is supposed to apply to any landlord or tenant who violates the Residential Tenancies Act, an order of the director, or an order of the Small Claims Court. It also applies to any landlord who retaliates against a tenant for asserting their rights. The Department of Service Nova Scotia and Internal Services is in charge of the residential tenancies program, but the department says it doesn't have any enforcement officers, so it can't enforce the fine. Instead, it says go to the police to have it enforced. But one landlord who got a residential tenancies ruling and was still struggling to evict her tenants after months of fraudulent checks and no rent coming in, went to the police and says it didn't work.
When I called the police, they said that they don't do anything connected with residential tenancies. And so I called the Residential Tenancies Board and asked them how to enforce that. And they said that they don't enforce that, that would be something that would be dealt with either through police or through the courts. So I called the courts and asked how that's enforced, and they didn't know.
CBC asked Halifax Police and the RCMP how many people have asked them to pursue this summary conviction and how many investigations have been opened. Halifax Police wouldn't say and told us to file a Freedom of Information request. The RCMP did share numbers. It says in the past 5 years, no investigations have been opened. The Department of Justice's records go back more than 30 years to 1990. A spokesperson for the department says, "We were able to review the files dating back to 1990. Justice has no record of any convictions under Section 23 or Section 24 of the Act." This may not be surprising given there have been no apparent investigations by the police or the department. The government has been saying it's working on a compliance and enforcement division for months now, with no changes yet. They say they're doing research, including looking at how other places do it. Nicholas Sagan, CBC News, Halifax.